Something I recently found out that I've been obsessed with is that the Quran and Islam has been way ahead of the curve when it comes to mutual aid, solidarity economies, welfare, universal basic income, and redistribution of wealth. So in the Quran, it specifically says that Muslims who meet a specific threshold of wealth and have the ability to do so need to give of what they have, whether that's their money, their resources, their connections, or their time, but most importantly, their money, in order for the overall welfare of society. So the very first time that the concept of zakat, or this kind of giving, alms giving, is mentioned in the Quran is super early. It's in the second chapter, basically the first page of most Qurans you will open, while the believer, who constitutes a believer, is being defined. So verse 2-3 says, those who believe implicitly, which is one of the conditions, those who attend to their duties, who willingly expend whatever we have on them bestowed, those who give of what they have. And then it shows up over and over again, specifically defining the categories of the people who this money should be given to. So it says charities, which is mistranslated. Zakat is more like mutual aid or almsgiving, like a tax for the state that is then redistributed to the people. Charities are only for the poor and needy and the workers who administer them, and those whose hearts have been reconciled, and those in bondage, and those in debt, and on the cause of God, and for the wayfarer as an ordinance of God. Here's another verse that supports this. This goes back to Surah Baqarah 283. We took the promise of the children of Israel, do not worship anything but God, and be good to parents, relatives, orphans, and the poor, and speak nicely to people, and pray regularly, and give alms, which is the same word as zakat. Then you reneged, except a few of you, leaving it unfulfilled. So here it's giving it as a warning, but again, it's included in one of the things that a believer must do, and that's part of our promise to God. So obviously those who are administering these funds are entitled to these payments because they need to actually make a living. And then the other category is those whose hearts have been reconciled. So they can be seen as people who maybe went through a criminal justice rehabilitation system, or those who were previously not in the path of God, but have now aligned themselves with the path of God. I'm personally obsessed with this whole idea because it changes the conception of the obligation of those who have means from giving charity, which is like a power dynamic based relationship. But if you have a system where it's not power dynamic based and it's not merit based, and there's an understanding that there are certain factors like nature that are completely outside of our control, or the cycles of life and civilization, then we are constantly always looking out for each other through these systems of welfare and mutual aid.